You may find yourself living in a teardrop trailer. And you may find yourself in another part of the world. And you may ask yourself, well, how did I get here?
With my when things fail, what the fuck, with me, why I am disabled and homeless, and what I'm trying to do about it, and how I got here. The last episode, ended kind of good. I finally found a doctor that wanted to help me. So, that was awesome. And just having someone that was like, we're gonna figure this out and make you feel better in the meantime. Like, so we're gonna give you medications to try in the meantime so that you can like kind of live a life while we run some tests. And that was huge because nobody had offered that, and then he wanted me to get into UCSF, but that took seeing the neurologist at the clinic that he worked at. And as soon as all of this is starting is also when COVID is starting. So I had my plans, to try to do some things. Like, I had applied for disability. I was trying to get into, or was in a local shop with my art and soap, and really trying to support myself, even though I couldn't do much physically, and on 6 out of 7 days of the week. So anyway, I had to get all my test results to UCSF for them to accept me, and I couldn't get some of my test results into them because it was just a single lady that had run my electric nerve readings, different tests, and her office was closed indefinitely. So I couldn't get those for months. And then the neurologist that I had to see prior to being seen by someone at UCSF, he was elderly, so he was out of office, and he had someone kind of talking for him. Like, he read through my chart, and then he had this other doctor telling me things, but she ended up telling me that she worked with people with trauma. And, she's like, oh, well, you just need, it sounds like PTSD, and, you need to just take this herbal supplement for anxiety, and have you tried lavender oil? And I was like, could you please just call the neurologist? I'd like to talk to him, about some of these things that are going on, because a different retired neurologist from the doctor that was working with my naturopath had me do these tests, and he had ideas of what I had wrong with me, but then he retired. The doctor working with my naturopath retired. I had no way to really talk to them or know what was going on. So, I really wanted to talk to another neurologist and be like, why did they run this test? What was this for? And what does this mean? because my results were abnormal. But you know, she's like, okay, well, I'll go call him. And she went and called him in another room and came back and said he didn't want to talk to me. And agreed with her that I was just it was all in my head, and you know, I just needed to relax and meditate and do all that bullshit that I have already been doing for 20 years. So, you know, my doctor, he worked really hard, and my general practitioner, and he got me into UCSF finally after, you know, I called and got all my paperwork together, and I had to do this too for my representative for disability, because of course, you know, I got denied the first time, and then the second time, and then I have a representative, and he ended up collaborating over like 150 pages of medical records, and I kept getting denied because of the first neurologist's account of like me. He told them that I was faking it, you know, and he was the very first person that I went to specialist wise, and so of course, you know, they're gonna take his word as opposed to like the 20 other doctors that submitted something. So anyway, that was taking a really, really, really long time, and I had a wonderful representative who made it really easy on me, because I can't handle any stress, nor can I physically like type or do any of that kind of stuff without dissociating. And so I ended up getting into UCSF. Before that, you know, it's just me and the guy now living there. The roommate and her girlfriend moved out right before COVID, and so there was an empty room, and he was trying to get someone in there to live. And during COVID, when it first started, and the girl he did find, she wasn't taking it seriously, you know, and with my health issues and knowing that I had high ANA, and then the medications that they just put me on that were actually starting to work, gave me a 50% more chance of having respiratory issues and infections, things like that. So I was trying to be really careful, and she was always gone all day, like even during lockdown, like visiting family and things, and I, you know, just be like, can you wash your hands before you pet my dog? And I would self-quarantine, and she took it all personally and got really mad with me. She was very strange anyway. Like, she told me about reading a book where someone got assaulted, and like it really traumatized her because she read it in a book, and I was just like, oh honey, like, you know, what do they say in the South, like bless your heart or something like that. And you know, she just hadn't experienced a whole lot. Even said like she'd always had like great relationships and blah blah blah. Anyway, she ended up finding a different place that was better for her, for everyone, after I had talked her down from like me hating her. Me self-quarantining was like me being mean to her somehow or asking her to wash her hands was like, you know, it hurt her feelings. So then I got blamed, you know, for him not having a roommate and having that income and stuff because I'm sick. And that was a thing. And, you know, of course, he didn't ever want to take time out of his day to help me. My doctor suggested that he applied to be my caregiver through this system, and because he did, you know, take care of me. So he did that, and he was making money from me being there, living there, and he would help me walk when I needed it and take me to appointments when I needed it, and things like that. So he was making a lot of money, more than he would have made from a roommate. And about the middle of 2020, the room had been open and empty for a few months, so I didn't want to stay with him anymore. You know, I had found out he was still talking to people about my condition and my health and my very personal things that had happened to me, which was now breaking HIPAA because he was involved in this healthcare organization. And I had to just, you know, break it off. Like, no more trying this back and forth, you know, sleeping next to each other, being together sort of thing. So I started sleeping in the empty room, and I was there trying to be out of the way as much as possible from about fall of 2020 on, and just really in my mind constantly figuring out how the hell I'm gonna get out of this situation. I've called everyone, I've talked to everyone, you know, I've tried doctors, I'm waiting on specialists, I'm waiting on all these things, you know. How do I get out of here?
Let the days go by, let the water hold me down. Let the days go by, water flowing underground into the blue again. After the money's gone, once in a lifetime, water flowing underground.